Yeah. So, when did you first meet Bill France Jr.?
In March of 1954. That same day I met his father, Bill France Sr., at Oakland, California.
Okay. Pretty cool. Like, what was your meeting with them like?
Oh, I was a kid. You know, I never was an autograph seeker. I was with baseball and not with racing. I never asked people for their autograph. I just walked up to him and introduced myself, and they shook hands with me, and I had become acquainted with the people that had pioneered NASCAR on the West Coast in the early 50s. It was a man and a woman, Bob Barkheimer and Margot Burke. And they were iconic out on the West Coast. They had 22 tracks, and they purged their operation together with NASCAR and built NASCAR on the West Coast starting in 1951. I ended up owning that company in 1977.
Ah, how'd you get control of the company?
I bought it. But I've been connected to them for a long time as friends. And I've been the vice president of Sears Point International Raceway. I've promoted a lot of big, successful special events. And Margot Burke never had any children. She always said her boys were me and Bill France Jr. And, you know, I became her guardian, her trustee, before she passed away many years later. She was like a second mother to me. But I had to prove to her that I had what it took before she'd ever agree or you know, commit anything like that.
Yeah, and you obviously did have what it took.
Well, I went to work for them, and they shared me with NASCAR in Daytona, and I took over running what you would know today as the ARCA Menard Series, but in those days it was the Pacific Coast Grand National. And, you know, the guys like Parnell A. Jones and Marvin Panch and Herschel McGriff and, you know, a lot of big stars. Some of them went on, you know, to fame and fortune.
For sure.
That's how that happened, though. And when that happened, I ended up owning 12 racetracks for 25 years.
Which one of those tracks was more famous?
San Jose.
Oh, I've heard of that one.
But I also own the half-mile paved track in Portland, Oregon, Stockton 99 Speedway in Stockton, California, San Jose Speedway, and 9 others.
That's pretty cool. I recently visited Portland, and I saw the racetrack while I was there.
Well, what you saw, though, was the road course.
The road course, yeah.
Yeah, that's across the freeway from the old Portland Speedway that I owned.
Okay.
Portland Speedway was a half mile. And we had Winston Cup races there, or NASCAR Cup races there in the 1950s. And I was the co-founder of the NASCAR Truck Series. And we had NASCAR National Championship truck races there. It was a famous track. It's not there anymore. It got sold, and there's a big truck depot there now.
Okay, so I saw the road course, not the one you were referring to.
Yeah. But I had some involvement with the road course from time to time also.
That's pretty cool. Just a question, were you involved at all in Riverside's race in the 80s and 70s, or no?
All the way back to 1958, the first 500 we ever had there. Memorial Day weekend of 1958, I was a crew chief, and our driver got into some trouble on Wednesday night prior to the event. Well, he got in a fight with an off-duty police officer, and he got thrown in jail. So I actually put on his helmet, stuffed a cigarette in the side of my mouth, put my goggles over my face, and acted like I was the greatest driver in the world, and I went out and qualified the car. 40, there was 44 I qualified 41st or 42nd, I don't remember which. And then we got him out of jail, and he started way back, the back. Nobody ever knew it wasn't him qualifying it. And we finished fifth in the first ever Riverside 500, and I was the crew chief.
That's really cool. Did you see all those... Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. That's all right.
Oh, okay. If I interrupted, you can go if you'd like.
No, you're all right.
All right. I was going to ask if you witnessed all the times that Dan Gurney was winning all those races.
Every single one. I never missed a stock car race at Riverside from 1958 until it was shut down in 1988. Never missed a stock car race there. And the president of the track, Les Richter, famous football player, he was my closest buddy in racing. And he was still, when he played football, he's the largest trade still today in the history of the NFL. The Los Angeles Rams traded 11 players for him. When he quit football, he became the president of Riverside International Raceway. And he and I connected in 1961. And by 1968, 69, we were lifetime friends. We had business interests together other than racing. Our families were friends. We'd spend Thanksgiving together. So yeah, I was very connected to Riverside.
That's really cool. I interviewed a race driver, Tommy Kendall, years back, and he kind of told...
I just talked to him on the phone yesterday.
Oh, that's really cool.
He's another guy I helped when he was real young.
That's really cool. He told me that when Gurney was winning all the Riverside races, he was always saying, everybody was saying to themselves, well, we know who's winning this one.
Yeah, that's a fact. In 5 and 6 years, Gurney won 5 of the 500s. 1963, 64, 65, and 66. And then in 67, Parnelli Jones won. And then in 68, Gurney came back and won his 5th one. So you're not confused. The first 500 there in 1958, the one that I was the crew chief on the 5th place car, the one that I qualified the car for. Mm-hmm. After that year, they did not have another 500 until 1963. So 5 years went by before it became an annual event.
That's really interesting. Do you have any idea why the Riverside track shut down?
Yes, completely. The owner was a real estate developer and investor. He lived in Dallas, Texas, and the property became so valuable that he no longer could justify having a racetrack on it. So he built a shopping center and some homes and apartments, condos, and what have you.
Ah, okay. That was a really good track, and I've seen footage of it on YouTube. It looked like a lot of fun to race on.
It was. It could be brutal. We lost a few friends there.
Yeah.
But it was a great facility.
Yeah. Do you think if Riverside was still around, do you think some of the road course specialists like Ron Fellows or Boris Said would have done good at it? Just your opinion?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Both of those guys would.
Both of those guys what?
Both of those guys would have been very successful there.
Yeah, I agree. Sorry about that. The phone kind of cut out for a split second.
No, that's all right. Don't worry.
All right. So, how did you build relationships in the racing industry in order to become as respected as you are?
Paid my bills whether I won, or broke even, or lost. Early on, I got a reputation for paying my bills no matter how bad a day I had. And I interfaced with the media early in my career. A lot of the media people on the West Coast were friends, and eventually I was close friends with Chris Economaki and people like that. Really, I mean, close enough that I've been to his house for dinner. But tell the truth, pay your bills, and your handshake is a contract. It's, you keep your word on anything